Virtual teams are on the rise. The advent of globalization and specialization has increased the necessity of telecommuting. A recent survey of 1,700 knowledge workers indicated 79% of said workers reported frequently or always in geographically dispersed teams. In addition, McGlade reported teleworkers grew by 62% from 2005 to 2012 in the U.S. alone. To corroborate this claim, a recent survey found 85% of business respondents from 80 countries work on virtual teams. However, a 2001 study of 70 groups indicated creating effective virtual teams is difficult. This same study found that 82% of virtual teams failed to achieve their objectives, while another 33% rated themselves largely unsuccessful. Further research suggests most people deem virtual communication far less productive than face-to-face interaction. Further, almost 50% admit to feeling confused and overwhelmed by collaboration technology. Nevertheless, the good news is a 2009 study of 80 global software teams suggests well-managed virtual teams actually outperform co-located teams. In a similar vein, an Aon consulting report mentioned virtual teams can improve employee productivity. Some businesses have an increase in productivity of 43%. With that said, I'll cover some of the most significant challenges that beset virtual teams. Number one on our list is actual physical distance between members that comprise virtual teams. Researchers have argued the lack of physical interaction, for example, the associated verbal and nonverbal cues, can lead to distrust. Others contend the lack of social interaction daily can lead to a loss of team spirit, and cultural clashes have also been identified as chief impediments for working virtually. The information technology that allows us to shrink global distances by sending emails, hurtling through cyberspace, and fax documents to machines across continents gives us a false sense of security, lulling us into believing that teamwork among geographically dispersed employees requires nothing more than a fast internet connection or new video conferencing equipment. With that said, our second issue that faces virtual teams is technology. Professionals armed with laptops, Wi-Fi, and mobile phones can do their jobs from anywhere. However, it's a challenge to determine which technological tool to best use for which context. In our experience, even top-notch virtual teams, those with the most talented workers to finest leadership and frequent touch points, can be failed by poor technology. Other research has noted that during interviews it was determined connections were not always clear during Skype or other facilitated meetings. Another impediment for virtual teams is knowledge sharing. Edmondson argues some types of knowledge just do not travel well because certain valuable information can be taken for granted by those closest to it. More important, not all knowledge management systems are created equal. Studies have shown that teams have been getting larger and larger, in some cases even exceeding 100 employees for complex projects. This facet of team composition has spread to virtual teams as well. The biggest challenge to overcome with these large virtual teams is social loafing. Research suggests virtual team members reduce efforts in large, albeit prevalent teams because they feel less responsible for output. This effect kicks in when teams exceed 4 to 5 members. However, fear not, there are solutions ahead. I will now turn the presentation over to my colleague Jessica. She is here with us today to discuss some of the best practices for conquering these obstacles.